All right, back for another Golf Clash video. So on my YouTube channel. I'm having a conversation with Mitchum K here, and so he asked the question: "Good analysis of the upcoming tournament. I see that all your actual tournament content is for rookie, though I'm not sure how useful it will be to me. Is there any reason why you don't post pro and expert content since you seem to be a knowledgeable player? Lack of time? Can't share expert pro tips with Ricky only tournament content? I'd have to give your YouTube channel a pass in favor of one of the guys who are shooting in the higher." And I totally get that. Um, most people, they're going up and you get better chess in pro, you get better chess in expert. You can really develop your clubs when you get up into the masters and you finally develop the skill set to play in masters. You can really start to win some good prizes. So, um, I posted on here, and primarily it's for time. So I started shooting the YouTube videos because I had a really good friend that I was trying to get involved in the game. So I started shooting YouTube videos to teach him how to do the win ring method. And what I found was that when you're in the game, and we'll get back in here. When you're in the game, and we'll go to my clan as a prime example. This is like any other sport. Let's take I'm a big NASCAR fan, so let's take NASCAR as an example. You get involved in racing and you're all hot and you're all wanting to do the whole deal, and you get out there and you get yourself a sprint car, you get yourself a go-kart, a racing cart, and you go out there and you start racing. And let's say you're, like the mass majority that get into racing, you're having fun and you're doing this stuff, but you're not super successful. Then you have that group of people that are really successful in the kart, so they get an opportunity to start racing in the sprint cars with the big wings, and they get out there, and some of those people can handle the upper stuff and they become very successful, and then some of them don't make it. But the ones that are successful, maybe they get offered to go into, like if you're talking about the big leagues, they get offered like a truck series. And then if they do well in the truck series, then they go to Busch. And if they do well in Busch, then they finally end up in Cup. But all those guys that are in the Cup are guys that have had success at the lower levels and worked their way up. And one of the things about this game is that, like any day that you go out, and let's say you got a couple hours, it's on a Saturday and you're sitting around playing, how many people do you actually see in the course of any given day that have top three banners? You don't see, not everybody has a top three banner. And what I find is that a lot of people, they start off in the league, and they start off in rookie, and as soon as they can start playing in pro, because you get better prizes in pro, they go to pro. Now on my way up, I was only in pro for a very short period of time. When I, in one of my accounts where I played masters tournaments, I only played for a very short period of time in pro, because in expert they give you get tour 9 chests instead of tour 6, so I wasn't getting any tour 7 cards in my effort to work pro. So I was in pro for a very short period of time, and then I went to expert. And looking back on it, I did what almost everybody in the game does. When they first get on, they go up the scale and they're trying to get more chests and they're trying to get better stuff. But what I didn't have at that time when I first started was I didn't have that success at rookie. So my whole goal is to teach players at rookie how to be successful and how to set up shots and how to go to a hole. If we talk about Golf Clash Notebook, and let's see, who was I checking in here? Go to one of these holes, like going to this hole right here and being very critical about, like, where do we want our ball to be? And if we're out here and this is the shot that we worked really hard for, like, what's our next shot? And being very critical about, like, what are the angles on these holes. And so if you can learn these skills and you can understand that the minimum score, like in the last tournament that we played in, the minimum score that we're looking for, just shooting a perfect round, was a minus 12 or a minus 12 per side. So you're looking for minus 12, minus 24, minus 24. I did a poll in my clan, and in almost every case, if you're in a really high, like if you're playing a rookie, if you're in like a masters bracket in rookie where everybody in the bracket is master, then that number 24 can go way down. I've seen it in my odd account where literally the top 70, top 80 people shot a perfect round. But in most brackets, you're going to find that minus 12, minus 24, minus 24 is going to net you a top 15. And what we found in the last tournament is that it was as low as 5th and it was as high as 15th. So if you're a rookie and you're just starting the game and you can really understand how to approach these holes and how to look at these holes critically so that you're not just coming out here and shooting the shot, and how to really try and maximize your efforts on each hole and know which clubs to bring and why you're bringing those clubs, and know how to use the wind ring method so that you can adjust for wind. When you're in rookie and you start seeing, if you start playing that minimum score, and you put yourself in the perfect position. So let's take one of the par fours, for example. If you can put yourself in the perfect position where you're on and you can get an eagle on this, that's, you picked up one. But the goal when you come to this hole is to get birdie. It's to get a birdie and put yourself in the perfect position to get an eagle. And then when you go to the next hole, your goal here is to get a birdie, but give yourself a serious shot at a hole-in-one. Your next shot, this hole right here, your goal is to get up here and try and get an eagle, or on this hole, an albatross, and put yourself in the perfect position to get the albatross so that you have the opportunity to pick that shot up. And if you can just learn the skills that it takes to shoot the minus 12, minus 24, minus 24, and put yourself in that position, what you're going to find is week in and week out, every tournament, you're going to be top 15. If you pick up one shot in 18 holes, you're looking at an easy top 10, possibly a top 5. And so if you find yourself in that success rate where you're up there in the top 10 every week, you're going to find yourself starting to win some banners. And so what I'm trying to encourage players to do is to win some banners at rookie and be a successful rookie player, and then make the jump up to pro. Now you're playing from the back tee when you're playing from pro. So now in most cases, playing from the back tee, as long as you can put yourself in the same spot that you were in when you were in rookie, you're going to have the same approach shot. So it's learning how to make up that extra distance, either with a bigger club, because now you're getting better, you're upgrading your clubs, or you're having to bring out a bigger ball. And so if you can learn how to do those skills in rookie, when you go to pro, the first couple pro tournaments you play in, you're going to get beat up just because you're playing from the back tees. And a lot of that's, you need to know how to play. I've played every single hole in this game bunches and bunches of time. And so I know all the holes. I can get on a hole and I go, okay, I know this hole, and I know how to play that hole. Whether it's from rookie or the pro tees, I know how to play those holes. Some of the newer holes I haven't played from the Masters tee, so I don't know what shot you're doing. But there's a totally different setup when you get into Masters. I mean, an expert too, because the winds are so high. But if you can learn how to make the wind adjustments and know why it is that you're trying to get here and why you're trying to get here, and get that stuff dialed in at rookie, then when you go to pro, you're going to find yourself, if you still stay on the track of, hey, I need to shoot a minus 24, minus 12, minus 24, minus 24, once you can adjust to the tee being back, what you're going to find in pro is that you're going to start being very successful. Once again, you're going to be in the top 15 every week because you're shooting the minimum score. Most people go into this and they think, I got to shoot 28. No, what you've got to shoot is minus 12, minus 24, minus 24, and put yourself in the perfect spot on every hole to pick up a shot. Not try and go for it on every shot. You need to be perfect, a perfect round, and give yourself 18 opportunities. And the hope is that in 18 opportunities, you'd get 2 or 3 of those to drop, and now all of a sudden your real estate changes and you're in the top 3. So I'm trying to teach players at the lower levels how to be successful so that when they move up to pro, they can carry that success with them. But in order to demo all the shots, if I want to do the videos like what Tommy does, Tommy, a lot of people don't, because there's a lot of new players. When Tommy first started playing the game, he worked for an insurance company, and he worked as like in the front office, like a receptionist, or he did that. He wasn't an adjuster or anything. He just worked for an insurance agency. He makes enough money now that he can dedicate all of his time to doing nothing but playing Golf Clash. And so I don't have that. I don't have that time. And so I have to pick my ponies. And so what my real goal is that I want to try and help newer players and players that are down there learn how to develop the game, build up their clubs, get successful at the lower levels, and if they want to move up, then they've got the skills now to be successful at that next level, and they should stay at that next level until they start showing some success there. And then when they move up to expert, they can take those skills with them. Now they're just, the only thing different that you're dealing with at expert than you are with pro is bigger wins. So sometimes you can use that win to your advantage and it makes the shots easier. In some cases, expert's easier than pro. Master, then you're going to have to deal with learning how to hit from the back tee. But if you haven't developed those skills as you go on, it's just like I was talking at the beginning of the video with drivers. You know, if you took some kid that was out there racing go-karts and threw him in a NASCAR car, he's not gonna have very much success. You've got to learn the skills and be successful as you go up. Or what you're gonna find is that you go, hey, Masters or Expert gives better prizes. Okay, they give better prizes, especially if you're in the top 10, top 20. But when you're 78th or 92nd or 59th, week in and week out every tournament, number one, it's very discouraging. And number two, you know, the whole goal is to try and use your skills to be successful. So if you weren't successful at pro and then you just jumped up to expert, what were you planning on happening? You're not going to be successful at expert either. So my whole goal is to help people learn at the lower levels how to be successful. So when we look at my clan in particular, let's see if they still have the stuff posted. You know, when this clan first started, there would be a couple people each week that might be in the top 20. And now what we're finding is that we've got one of our players, Joe Golf, won 2 weeks in a row. Our team president, Mike D, won last week. Let's see if it shows here, let's go to members here. And I'm not sure if it's going to show. I think it might have already wiped them out. But we went from having a couple people each week in the top 20 to last week we had 20 people in the top 20 out of 50. So we're seeing better finishes. People are learning those basic skills, and they're understanding that, you know, my goal isn't to shoot minus 15 or 16. My goal is to get the minus 12 and put myself in the perfect position every time. And if I can teach lower level players how to do that, so that when they decide to go to pro, there's other guys out there that are shooting video for pro and expert, and they can find the guy that they like the best as far as learning technique. But they'll be able to take those basic skills that they learned in rookie, and they can be successful at the next level. But if you find yourself in pro or expert and you're constantly, you know, you're 40 or below, then maybe you should step back and learn how to really be competitive in these tournaments by learning those basic skills. All right, I want to thank Mitchum for responding or doing this stuff on YouTube, and I really appreciate all you guys watching, and have a great day.